Sorry, I was reading something on Facebook, even though I'm never on Facebook.
What's Facebook? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I don't have it on my new phone, but I do have it on my old phone. I'm trying to find Twitch on my old phone. Oh shit, it's already up.
Yeah, it's definitely up.
All right, welcome to Politics as Usual, episode 39, the Steven Jackson episode. I don't know what the fuck we're talking about today. Not much has happened. Ronnie has been busy catching up on fucking Digimon.
Finally, so everyone can stop harassing me about watching. Well, everyone, meaning AJ, can finally stop harassing me. I finally started Digimon. You should watch it too. It's on Hulu. Watch it. Digimon Adventures. Watch the old one too, but this one is just as good.
I mean, you really don't have to. You can just watch the new one. Like the old one.
Don't disrespect the OG like that.
I mean, the old one was cool, but the new one is like way better.
Relax, please.
I'm saying the new one is already better. Like if you
prime Steven Jackson, but yeah.
Like if you, god damn it. Okay, I'm gonna need to turn off notifications for this shit. Shit's getting fucking annoying. But anyway, yeah, Ronnie's finally watched Digimon, the greatness that is that, the new series of it. Fee is off again this week doing his work thing, and he didn't bring his laptop because he needed to make room for his PlayStation 5 to be delivered to him where he works. Don't ask me how that works. I also have my PlayStation 5, hooked it up last night. Mostly going to be playing PlayStation 4 games on it, but fuck it. We'll worry about what PS5 games come later, you know.
Right.
The important thing is that I have it.
You have it. That's all that matters. And
even though I probably won't be playing much of it because I'll be so busy doing other shit. But, you know, the game is the game. Since the last time we joined you, we are supposed to get a new president. Don't know if that's exactly going to happen, but Joe Biden is projected to have won the presidency. He is slated to become the 46th president of the United States if this attempted coup d'etat by the Trump administration does not end up happening. 306 to 232 is the electoral vote total. I'm seeing that he's currently ahead. Joe is currently ahead in the popular vote by about 5 million, somewhere in that range. About 51% of Americans voted for him. And this shit is still being contested because Donald Trump is a fucking moron. But the big news to come out is that apparently he's broke and afraid of being arrested. And
yeah. So
let me while you talk, let me cue up my favorite video for this.
So let me go into that. So me being the pessimistic one on this show and the show that I do with Ryan, the show that should be called Politics as Usual, but we're not going to get into that. It's appropriately titled. But anyway, I've always been saying I'm not worried about Joe winning the election. I'm worried about him having the election stolen from him. And now
here's the video.
Oh, go ahead. Wait. but now it's just seeing this unfold. It's really gonna be tough for the boy because his legal team is just being like, okay, man, like this is petty. We're backing off. So his legal team isn't even supporting him after like trying to raise these issues in Pennsylvania. The latest suit in Michigan was struck down. And today, like just a few hours ago, when he was talking about another shutdown, like he slipped up. It was like, well, I don't know who's gonna be here in the future, but you know,
this administration won't be doing the shutdown yet.
Right. So I think he's finally starting to accept that there's no pathway for him to steal it like he thought he would. But because AJ, I saw your mouth about to move, but I do think he's gonna try his best to go full scorched earth on his way out. Like
that, Nelson just said what I was getting ready to say. all of this hinges on a case not getting to the fucking Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court there's still a long time between now and January, or even when the election's certified in December. Like, there's a long way away. There's been talk about states replacing electors if they don't want them to. There's a lot of shit that can happen between now and then, basically. But
the state I was worried about doing that the most, they've appointed their electors, which is Georgia, by the way. They've appointed their electors, and one Stacey Abrams is one of the electors. So a lot of moving pieces got. And once again, I'm not saying it can't happen, because this is Donald Trump we're talking about. We've been dealing with him for 4 years, and he's going to find a way. Now, he will try to find a way, but I think his pathway is getting harder to try to steal.
No, it's definitely getting harder. Like, the one thing I've been telling people is, my brother says my shirt is hard. Yes, Mighty Ducks crew neck. I was in my closet looking for something, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot I had this. Because it ain't been cold enough to really like wear all my fly fall shit, because we got fucking hurricanes happening in goddamn November, 2 weeks before fucking Thanksgiving. But anyway, the one I told somebody, I said, listen, y'all got to stop saying what can't happen, because for 4 years ago, y'all said 4 or 5 years ago, y'all said Trump can't be president. It'll never happen. He won't win the Republican nomination. And ever since then, a bunch of shit that we said could and would not happen has steadily been happening. So y'all got to stop saying that shit can't happen. Not you, but people in general. Y'all got to stop saying that shit can't happen. There is a way. Like Nelson said, he got Amy on the Supreme Court. Now, Republicans appear to be like, all right, man, you wildin'. I don't know if we can really support this. But like I was telling B. Will, all it takes is one case getting to the Supreme Court for them to set the precedent to do some fuck shit to keep him in office. The Secretary of State saying we're preparing for a second Trump administration. They are going to try.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, nothing substantial has popped up yet to make it to the Supreme Court. So that's what I'm saying. Like, the pathways for him to steal it that he thought would be there aren't there anymore. Because, like, for instance, he was fully prepared to lose Ohio. He won Ohio. So, and Ohio goes to his count 232, doesn't even matter. Now, states like Pennsylvania that have, by the way, I've been really loving getting to know Pennsylvania's lieutenant governor, but aside from that,
he looked like a fucking bounty hunter. Like, he looked like one of them History Channel.
He put in work back in the day. Like, you
he definitely looked like a member of a biker gang. Like, he could have been the extra on Sons of Anarchy and fit right in. Like, he definitely is a rough and tumble type cat. That by the looks of him anyway.
Right. So yeah, like I was saying, I think Trump was expecting to lose Ohio, and he thought Florida, like, because you could tell, like, by the way his people were talking, he thought Florida was going to be a battleground state. He won those two states, and it's still 232. So I think he had one plan etched out, and that didn't work how he thought he would. So now he's just grasping at straws. So what I think he's going to do, obviously, he's shutting out Joe from the transition team, which is bad, because if you are, because the president-elect is supposed to be, meeting right now to make those connections with, basically these agencies for intel, so Joe can't set briefings, right. So Joe can't really set up a channel to do that, because they'll try to say like, well, isn't this what y'all said we were doing in 2016? So Joe can't really do that right now. He's completely shut out. Also, what I think Trump will try to do is yeah, this is wild. I have to say this out loud, but he will basically like try to fold his arms, say I'm not going, and that's why he basically fired this one guy this week and like hired this patsy to be a yes man. He would try to like turn. And by the way, look at what Ron DeSantis did in Florida. I think that's going to be an indicator. Basically, what I'm saying is, if you're suspected of looting, you could be shot. That's an extension of the stand your ground law. So I think Trump is going to fold his arms, say I'm not going anywhere, and then try to turn the military on the American people while he still has constitutional power. And it's crazy to even say that out loud.
Yeah, I mean, Also, Trump can use the 12th Amendment as his last hope. All right, Nelson, whoever the hell you are, explain that while we're talking. But yeah, I mean, this we're headed towards some. See, this again is all in my argument of why we need a new constitution, because you gonna need about 15 amendments to fix all the shit that he done revealed is broken, and we ain't passing no damn 15 amendments. not with the Senate as fucked up as it is. Like we need something new, and we need something new ASAP, because there's been a lot of shit that has been broke. However Nelson explains this, I think I'll be able to figure out who the fuck he is. But yeah, like that there so much shit has just been revealed to be broken. Like we definitely need to realign the Senate. Like the Senate needs to be realigned. Like if we by some modicum of a miracle manage to get these 2 seats in Georgia, and we are also, I'm very disappointed in North Carolina. How did Roy Cooper win the fucking governorship by a landslide, and you idiots still voted for Dump and Tom Tillis? Are you people fucking stupid? Like are y'all insane? Like seriously, I need to ask myself this question of the people who live near me. Y'all motherfuckers voted for the Democratic governor, and Democrats pretty much got their shit across every, like the state Supreme Court Chief Justice just pulled ahead in a race, but y'all couldn't vote for the Democratic senator. Like, I don't even care about the electoral votes going to Dump, but y'all motherfuckers are stupid. But anyway, if we by some miracle of hope get both seats in, because I feel like this is an all or nothing thing with Georgia. I don't feel like
it's all or nothing. It's all or nothing.
I don't feel like we're getting one of those. I don't feel like it's a split. So if we by some modicum get the 50, then like Puerto Rico, but like it's the reason I feel this is bad is because we're now setting up for another Democratic president to govern by executive order, which is what Barack had to do basically his last 6 years, which set the precedent for Dump to do this. So if and when they get the White House back, they can just say, oh, well, y'all did all that shit, so we're just going to do all this shit. So it's like we can't bank on anything good happening unless we can convince Collins or is it Murkowski, whichever one, Collins or Murkowski, whichever one they always trying to go to, and Mitt Romney to motherfucking to side with us on shit. Like we really ain't gonna get they're set up to take 2022, both the House and the And I want to point out that AOC, Doug Jones, and I forget who else is saying this, but Beto O'Rourke. AOC is saying we need to engage our electorate. You guys need to stop acting like progressive talking points are a bad thing, and AOC gets blasted for it, but Beto and Doug Jones, no one says anything about. Like,
Doug Jones says the same things. He says you need to go reach these people in the South. You need to go to these pockets that Democrats don't normally reach. You need to go talk to these people. But when Doug Jones says it, like, people are like, okay, cool, but no. And by the way, AOC and Doug Jones could be on further ends of the spectrum, but we're saying the same thing. So obviously there's a problem from top to bottom, from left to right of the spectrum in the Democratic Party. There's obviously a problem.
The Republicans have not won the nationwide popular vote since 1998. Since 1998, 22 years. 22 years since the Republicans have won the nationwide popular vote. And the Democrats have had power for what, Barack's first 2 years since then? So I've had like power across the government for 2 of those years since then.
Yeah, and that goes into my next point. The first 2 years, and I'll say it now, it's not going to happen because they're going to go too soft, as they always do. The first 2 years of the Biden administration needs to be getting in as much change as you can before 2022. And what I mean by that, there should be some type of election commission, election department, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, but you need to basically undo the damage that was done by a holder Shelby County, restore voter voting rights in this country. Also, you need to do things like make voting a holiday, have uniform early voting, have a uniform way to vote, like if you're voting for
federalized voting.
Exactly. If you're voting for a presidential election, everybody needs to be voting the same way. All votes need to be counted the same way. Like, I feel like there needs to be uniformity there. So these things need to happen, and that would be perfect for someone like Beto or Stacey Abrams to look at. Also, you need to go ahead and get DC and Puerto Rico across the line. You need to pump those numbers up. Also, while you're at it, and I take no credit for this. This is Ryan's idea. Supreme Court need to go ahead and add those 4 seats. Biden, yes, excuse me, 6.
Add 6, but one for each of the federal districts. Aren't there 15?
Yeah. And Biden's been mum on this, and I think he has been because he's going to do that. That's the one thing I think he's going to do, and that's something he can do pretty much day one. So I think those things need to happen. You need to get in as much as you can these first 2 years because 2022, it's coming.
Yeah, like it's going to be worse if these 2 Senate seats in Georgia go red. Like 2022 is going to be a bloodbath, and 2024 they're going to be back with somebody much more subtle, but who believes the exact same things as Dump, and then we're screwed. Like I think what I found funny is, and I need you guys to understand that, I do not dislike the 44th president of the United States, but as I've been telling people, sorry, Kwame Ture, Stokely Carmichael once said of Dr. King that he is the only person who loved white people enough to think that they could redeem themselves. Barack Obama fits that mold. He wrote something that said he has not given up on the ideal of America. And I said, of course he hasn't. That's why we're in this fucking mess. Like, you're the same dude who can say that Donald Trump was elected specifically because white people were mad that a black man held the office of the president. And then also say, yeah, but I'm not ready to give up. Those 70 million people who voted for 4 more years of this, they're redeemable. There's hope for them.
Yeah.
And that encapsulates the problem with him and the Democratic Party is they feel like there's hope. We should say, fuck those 70 million people, govern the way we want to govern, and damn the small states, damn the people who don't want to have a leftist agenda. Fuck them, because they end up prospering under progressive policies anyway. Damn, trying to get those votes back and just cram through whatever shit we can cram through so they can't ever gain power again and squash their little whiny fucking racist voices out.
So that's what we've been talking about in our group chat for this week, and I've been always saying that the Democrats are trying to win the culture war in America. You're never going to do that because Republicans that have one solid unified message is that Democrats basically want to undo our American way of life. They want to kill babies. They want to do this. They want to do that. They want to basically disrupt our cities. Disrupt our suburbs. They have one unified message. You're not going to beat that culture war. Like, you're not. So how do you beat that? Just like AJ said, you put in policies that people are going to benefit from. So like I said, if Biden comes in day one and gives like a stimulus pack, like a huge stimulus package to the American people, they're going to be looking around like, okay, Trump only gave us $1,200. Biden gave us X amount for like X amount of months. What's the difference? So you're not going to win that culture war. So what you do is you just got to govern the way you got to govern. You got to be uncompromising, which is weird because like I'm saying, like, you got to be uncompromising by giving people, Medicare for all, by giving people, higher wages. Like, but yeah, when you start to do those things for people, they realize like, like this stuff could have been done all the time. So maybe the Republicans actually were lying to me. But basically, I say all that to say this. We got to stop trying to win them over because you're not going to win that culture war.
You cannot defeat an enemy who believes that they are right. That is why America lost Vietnam. That's why America hasn't won any wars since World War II, because we cannot defeat enemies who believe that they are right. Nelson says the 12 is like if the Electoral College is not finished by January, the House of Representatives could vote, and only one vote by state is allowed in a Republican, and the majority are Republican. Okay, yeah. So I think that would happen if the results don't get certified or if no one has 270. I think that's the way that works. But yes, that is a very good point.
I will say this, much to Nelson's point, that's why he was trying to do all these recounts and tried to like throw all these suits in different states, because he was trying to elongate this process. He was trying to make states, he was trying to basically stop states from certifying like their votes, basically. So that would happen. But it's I mean, I don't see that being a pathway either right now. But I do think that was his plan. So
Yeah.
Nelson, shout out to you because I do think that's what he was trying to do.
Yeah, like I said, I personally am just of the belief that unity with that side of people is never possible. It's never going to be possible. And if you are out here trying it essentially as I can't remember who said this, but basically they said if you pray to the same God as your enemy and you're constantly losing, you are a fool. Like that is essentially the gist of the. I'm sure I don't have the wording of that correct, but like yes, that is correct. The Democrats and Republicans are trying to pray to this ideal of America, and the Republicans keep winning that. But the people who like are the majority of the people in this country who are consistently like voting for progressive, like even in heavily Republican states, progressive votes, like shit is passing. Like they're putting it on the ballot and people are overwhelmingly voting for this shit.
Yeah, like I said, like let's stop right here because a lot of people talk about the South. Let's talk about two states. Florida voted heavily for Trump, but they also voted for a $15 minimum wage. Mississippi, people talk about Mississippi all the time. Mississippi basically overruled their state electoral college. So basically for state legislature, they had an electoral college system. And if you don't know, part of the Black Belt runs through Mississippi, through the Delta, and it swoops through those certain states in Alabama. So the way that the electoral map in Mississippi is drawn is very specific. Like you could, like all the Black people in Mississippi stay in one area. So they had an electoral college system. So they struck that down, and they also legalized medical marijuana.
So progressive legislation is passing everywhere.
Exactly. These progressive movements are popular. So much to my point. I think there are Democrats in the leadership who have been there for too long, and they've clearly lost connection to the people. They've gotten too comfortable. They don't really know what's going on. And those are the people who basically they either need to get with the program or be replaced by somebody else. Because for better or worse, Republicans really know what America is. As we've seen by, even though Donald Trump lost, like more people turned out to vote for Trump than they should. Like that's disgusting. Like a lot of people turned out to vote for Trump. So Republicans really know what this country is. Democrats are trying to work towards what they think America should be. But no, let's focus on what America is, and let's govern under what America currently is. So
I like I said, I'm at the point where like Pelosi and Schumer, I'm actually kind of shocked Schumer like did the whole like $50K in student loan debt thing. Like I'm shocked he even put that out there.
He needs to win. He needs
like
to win.
I think he's finally like, all right, yo, we may not get this Senate back, so maybe I need to get with AOC and the squad are on. Like, because I personally like I have less than 50,000 in student loan debt. That would change my life immensely if that shit passed. Like that would be like, oh, word? Okay, cool. That frees up X amount of dollars for me a month. Like it's shit like that little small things that help out people. Like even if you got, let's say you got $100K in student loan debt, somebody cancel your student loan payment gets halved now. So if you're paying $450 a month, you got an extra $225 coming back to you each month in cash flow. That's without you having to get a raise. That's without them having to pass a minimum wage increase. That's without anything happening. You just getting an extra $200. You telling me American households can't use the extra $200 right now? Like yeah, come on, guys. Like this shit shouldn't be that difficult, but they make it that difficult. But let's go to the topic of the title of this. Trump is broke.
He's a broke boy.
Trump can't even afford a PS5 right now.
Yeah.
Trump been hoarding all this motherfucking money, get embezzling tax dollars through all his motherfucking hotels and shit, and his punk ass ain't got no money. They need to remix that song, I Ain't Got Nobody, to I Ain't Got No Money. That's Donnie Dump right now.
Man, he was looking rough at that press conference. Can't even get the hair colored anymore. Like, can't even get the orange tan. Like, he is broke.
Man's is out here looking like Larry Holmes, flabby as shit, trying to play a hate on my shit. Against all odds. That's what I need. I need Joe Biden to come out to like Hail Mary or Ether. Just be the realest shit I ever wrote. Just be the realest shit I ever spoke.
Yeah,
like,
Biden gonna come out. Biden gonna come out and say Trump is like the beer that Kane dropped, 40 and broke. Like he's gonna come out like that. He's gonna drop bars for Trump.
Like I just need the Ether instrumental. Dun, dun. Dun, dun. What's up? Yeah, I know you ain't talking about me, dog. You what? Like I need that. Like I need that for. See, this again is why we need AOC in charge somewhere, because she'd have been did some shit like that.
Yeah.
She'd have been on Twitch with Ether playing in the background, throwing veiled shots. She'd have pulled a Jay-Z and made a whole diss track without mentioning the person's name. Like it'd have been some shit like that. Like we need that out here. And somebody actually made this point. Like AOC is actually easily the smartest person in the Democratic establishment right now. At least that's in front of cameras. Like she engages with the electorate.
Yes,
she's out here on Twitch playing Among Us.
Like her being on Twitch did way more than your phone. And once again, I'm not saying phone banking is bad or emails are bad, but her hopping on Twitch, because people, like, how many people just want to say like, okay, I played Among Us with AOC. Like, so the numbers she did in like that hour and a half did more than what you spend millions of dollars to do. And it cost her nothing to hop on Among Us. It cost her nothing.
She goes on Instagram Live and engages with people and does TikToks, and it's like she gets it. She truly gets it. Like she's the only person who will actually clap back at the Republicans on Twitter. Like she doesn't wait to go to the new. She doesn't wait for the media to spin the shit. She retweets them and says, "No, it's this, and this." While the Democrats are trying to like funnel something up to the news desk at CNN, she's like, "Oh, I'll just take care of this myself." Like it's the same thing that Dump did. Rather than going through the media and waiting for them to filter his message out, he just started tweeting shit.
I will say this too. Watch out for Cori Bush in Missouri, because she's gonna be a problem too. If you don't know her story, basically she was living in Ferguson, and after the Mike Brown. The tragic killing of Mike Brown, that really mobilized her, and she became an activist. And now she is the first. I want to say not only the first woman, but the first Black woman elected to represent Missouri. So yeah, shout out to her. She's already talking the talk. She's gonna be a problem too. But yeah, that's what we need. We need like younger blood in there, people who really understand us. And thing is, I want people to understand this too. So, like I'll use the Green New Deal as an example. Like people are like, "Oh, the Green New Deal looks so extreme. It has so much stuff in it." You shoot up here so you can come down here where you really want to be. So that's why you need the AOC. You need the AOC to push you so far. You be like, "Damn, okay, let's settle for this then."
Right, exactly. Like it's like going in. Like if you want $25 an hour, you gonna go ask for 30, because if they really want you to offer you 25, like that, that is one of the oldest negotiating tactics in the book. Like she is going so far left because she's trying to slowly pull the Democratic Party with her. She knows that they're not going to get to where she and Bernie are, but she would like them to get to where Elizabeth Warren is.
Exactly.
And that is why Biden had the most progressive platform of any major party candidate ever. And people were like, well, what is Joe Biden going to do? Let me speak on all you fucking idiots out here who, like, I actually saw somebody say this after after Biden became president-elect, and somebody was like, yeah, I just feel like things are going to get worse for black people. And I'm just sitting there looking at my phone, and I was like, oh, you're a fucking idiot. Got it. You're just a moron. Like someone earlier said, why if it's the consensus that Trump is an idiot, why how can you be a free thinker and think that? And I'm like, oh, see, this is you motherfuckers' problems. You niggas think that agreeing with the consensus means that you're not a free thinker and that you're a cheat. Some shit's just obvious.
So you're just a contrarian. Yeah.
The sky's blue. This shirt is black. Like mostly, like that's not you're not a free thinker because you go, well, there's some gold in the no, you're not. You're being a fucking contrarian. Anyone who looks at this and says, what color is that shirt? Black. You being a free thinker, like, and I went on a rant about this. Like, cause there's some dude on YouTube with some Hotep Egyptian aesthetic. I won't say his fucking name, that people be following, and they just treat his shit like God. And I was talking to somebody who watches this shit, and I was like, okay, so where are he getting this information from? Well, if I can't explain it to you, you just got to do the research. Well, where are you researching?
I was just about to say that.
When we say that, you don't know what the fuck you talking about.
Because when we talk about these free thinkers, like always, like they say something, and I always say like, okay, show me your sources. Like, well, you should go look it up, or well, you just a sheep if you believe this. Like, no, show me your work, show me your sources, and then I'll be like, okay, you got a point. But it's because, like, for instance, like if you said, like if I say, like if the large majority of this country says vaccines work, and you say, well, no, they don't. I'm like, okay, well, show me your sources. And you just are like, well, you a sheep with just going with the status quo. Like, that shows me that you just want to be a contrarian, and you actually, like, because I'm going to need some information. I'm going to need something backing up your claim.
Exactly. Like, and this is my thing. Like, one of my favorite teachers in high school was a conspiracy theorist. And one of the things that he taught me was you got to question everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, somebody coming to tell you that the JFK thing was a government job, question that. Like, you might believe that, but you need to question where they got their information from. Mm-hmm. Like, so you damn sure need to question the hardest, the people that are coming to tell you that something that is common knowledge or public opinion is wrong. You need to question them more than you question public opinion. Because yes, people are fucking stupid and they will do some stupid shit, but there's usually a grain of truth in why people believe the stupid shit. Mm-hmm. Like, if like one of the things that I was taught was if you got two people telling two extreme versions of the same damn story, the truth is somewhere in the middle. It's not perfectly in the middle. Right. It's somewhere in the middle. It could be 60% this way, 40% this way, it could be 85% this way, 15% this way. But like, so the example that was used was evolution and intelligent design. And so, I would, again, having this conversation with somebody, and I was like, so what about intelligent creationism? What about intelligent design evolution? Or like Lupe said on the song, that's the best of both worlds. Like, God caused the Big Bang. Mind blown. Like, everything don't have to be one or the other. It can be, okay, well, what about this and this? Mm-hmm. And that seems to, like, we can say, yeah, the Democrats haven't been good to black people without saying that things are going to get worse than they would have been under this authoritarian regime that was coming with Donald Trump. Like, we can say these two things, like, yes, the Democrats do need to do better by black people, but they are far better for black people than the Republicans are, because the Democrats just kind of ignore us. Republicans actively seek to hurt us.
Right.
Either one does anything good for us, but one doesn't actively seek to harm us. So we should go with the one who doesn't actively seek to harm us.
Also, I pressed somebody on this. I was like, when's the last time the Democrats had a basically a super majority or have been in power? Like, when's the last time that's been? And then tell me why you feel like Democrats aren't doing anything for you. And this person couldn't give me an answer. I was like, well, that's part of the reason too. Like, those, like, and like, not to invoke Ice Cube's dumbass name, but the Democrats can't do much for you if they're not in power. I mean, that's just the fact of the matter. Like,
state legislatures and shit are like, the maps are super fucking gerrymandered in favor of the Republicans. This is why they have minority rule. We just told y'all that they have not won the nationwide popular vote in 22 years, in 12 election cycles. 2000, 2002, 2004, 2006, 2008, 2010, 2012, 2014, 2016, 2018, 2020, 11 election cycles. They have not won the popular vote in any of those since then, yet they maintain power. Obviously, they are doing something to maintain that power. Yes, part of it is the Democrats are a bunch of fucking morons. But let's stop acting like the Republicans aren't actively doing shit. They have 5 of the 6 Republican justices on the court right now were confirmed by senators who represent a minority of the population. Let me break this down for you another way, guys. The 35 least populous states in this country contain 1/3 of the population. The 15 most populous states in this country contain 2/3 of the population. That means that those 35 states that represent 33% of the population have 70% of the Senate power.
Mm-hmm.
The 15 with the most have 30% of the Senate power. That is why they are able to consistently make life hard when we do have Democratic presidents and we do have a Democratic House of Representatives, because the Senate is always closed. This is why DC and Puerto Rico statehood is so important, because if you get, it's, some people say 4, but it's likely 3 or 4 Democratic senators in there, and you nuke the filibuster, the Republicans will never have significant power in this country again.
Right.
And then you can get shit like increased minimum wage, rent control, a Green New Deal. You can get shit like infrastructure and boost to the economy. Whatever the economy's been good, has been under a Democratic president.
Mm-hmm.
At least in our lifetimes. If you're watching this shit in our lifetimes, when the economy's been good, it's been under Democratic presidents. Republicans.
The last time this government was in surplus was under Clinton. We've been in the deficits
since, like, George Bush came. We were at like record surplus, I think. And George Bush came and wiped all that shit away in the span of 8 years. And then
instantly.
Barack Obama actually fixed the shit and had us going back good. And then Dump comes in and fucks it up. Like, you have to be an idiot to sit and think that these things are coincidences, man. Like, this is like I sit and I say, like, I think the least populous state is like Wyoming, I think, and they have like around 500,000 people. They have 2 senators. California has 39 million people. They have 2 senators. Wyoming has 1 representative and 2 senators. You can't tell me that's not a problem.
This raises basically, I'm going to raise a good point that I think you brought up in our group chat. What needs to happen at this point, because, and once again, a lot of people are like originalists when it comes to the Constitution, but the framers, you shouldn't.
We have amendments.
Exactly. The framers of the Constitution cannot foresee this, which is why you have amendments. But by the way, a better system would be if you flip the powers of the House and the Senate. Because therefore, the most and I bring this up all the time because you alluded to this. Some of the most powerful senators in the nation. Obviously, Mitch McConnell, Kentucky, Tom Cotton, Arkansas, and basically, so Tom Cotton has been like one of the loudest voices against DC statehood, but DC contributes more to the nation's GDP than Arkansas does. DC.
So let's look at this. Kentucky, we're talking about states and territories. Kentucky is number 26. Arkansas is 34. Puerto Rico has more people than Arkansas.
Yeah.
Puerto Rico has more people than Arkansas. Puerto Rico is number 31. So you're telling me a state that is out of the 54 states and territories, they're number 31. They're in the top 60%.
Ridiculous.
They don't deserve representation. DC don't deserve representation. How many people are in DC? You're telling me the 700,000 people in DC don't deserve representation?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are we kidding right now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just California has 53 seats. Here are the number of states with 1 representative: Wyoming, Vermont, Alaska, North Dakota, South Dakota, Delaware, Montana. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 states have 1 representative but 2 senators.
Mm-hmm.
That is fucking ridiculous. And keep in mind, when this system was created, it was done to appease states who had slavery. Let's get that 100%.
Oh yeah.
But we were talking about population disparities of like by the tens of thousands.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about population disparities of quite literally the largest state having 39 million people and the smallest state having 578,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
That is a wild population disparity. That is a wild population. You could take the amount of people in Wyoming and lop it off, and California still has 39 million people.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. This country has changed. The maps have changed. Everything has changed. And like, you know, I was having this discussion with some people I grew up with, and they asked me, they were like, well, what would be the benefit of these countries staying in the union? I was like, did you see what the fuck happened to Puerto Rico when they got hit by a hurricane? How they had no support from the federal government?
No support.
That's your benefit of staying in this union, is you get support from the federal government. Duh. You don't contribute shit else. Your gross whatever don't impact the fucking country. You mean to tell me we can't live without the fucking Dakotas? What do the Dakotas produce of note that benefit this country in any way, shape, or form?
And by the way, why do we have 2 Dakotas in the first place? For
more senators for conservatives.
Exactly.
So for all you originalists and all you people who seem to think that this shit should be, you know, whatever it like, no, man. No. If the Constitution is a living document like they say, then shit needs to be changed. Mm-hmm. And DC and Puerto Rico statehood would change a lot of shit for a lot of us. Because I bet some of y'all who are sitting around saying, well, the Democrats don't do anything for black people. Y'all probably don't even realize that the Democrats had a bill sitting on Mitch McConnell's desk to get voted on that would have given Americans $2,000 per month retroactive to March of this year.
And who was one of the authors of that bill?
AOC.
Yeah, AOC. And then who also sponsored it? One Kamala Harris. So once again.
So again, we're 8 months into this pandemic now. You mean to tell me you as an American couldn't use an extra 16 grand?
Yeah.
I could. I probably wouldn't be responsible with it, but I could. But I'm fortunate enough to have a job that allows me to work from home, and I have relatively decent job security. I say relative, but I'm fortunate enough for that to be a thing. But what about the people who haven't been able to work? What about people? I have so many friends that are musicians, and so many of them have been forced out of work doing what they love. Like, just think about those people. Think about the people who work at live music venues that have been displaced. Think about comics. Think about comedians. Think about anyone who performs for a living that can't get what they. Think about the people, the waiters and waitresses who you selfish fucks are going out and exposing to coronavirus, who are being forced to work and wear a mask for 12 hours a day if they're working doubles for $2.13 an hour plus tips, that you fucking idiots, because y'all couldn't sit the fuck down for 2 months. Think about those people. You think they couldn't use an extra $2,000 a month right now while all this shit is going on? Like, are you fucking kidding me? To say there's no difference between the two parties is to say that you're a fucking moron. Hard stop. If you think that, you are a fucking moron. End of discussion. I'm not discussing it with you. I'm not willing to hear you out. You're a fucking idiot if you think there's no fundamental difference between the two parties. One actually wants the majority of Americans to vote and have access to things and to use our tax dollars for the good of the people, the commonwealth of the people. One of them actually wants to do that. The other one just wants to hoard money and give tax breaks to rich people who already have more money than they'll ever spend in their fucking lifetimes. Stop being so fucking stupid in the name of being a goddamn contrarian, morons.
Yeah, it's because it's of no benefit to anyone, and like I said, to echo your point, I think people really need to realize that point. Like, there's a difference between being ineffective and actively working against you, and I think people need to realize that Republicans are actively working against you. Like, they are.
They do not care about it.
They are.
They are interested in lining their pockets and the pockets of the people who give them money. That is it. They're friends. There is zero reason that Mitch McConnell's net worth has, like, in the hundreds of percentages increased since he became a senator. Zero reason for that. Like, literally zero reason for that.
Because these lobbying groups tell him, like, hey, this is the next issue to push, and he pushes it. Or this is what we want you to stop, and he stops it.
Because they line his pockets, which is why I always say to people, and this is on a different subject, but when people talk about like gun control laws, and I'm like, yo, you guys are like addressing the symptom of the issue. Like, yeah, sure, we could pass gun control law, but an easier way to do this would be to limit lobbyists.
Yeah, you gotta cut the lobbyists, because basically what they would. All right, so basically, gun lobbying got so out of control. They're like, okay, well, we got people the semi-automatic weapons. We got, and people are getting those. So now, like, it got so out of control that they were like, basically, so many people had automatic weapons in this country that sales were actually declining. So then the next issue that they pushed, they're like, okay, let's push silencers now. So yeah, let's make silencers a thing now. And then Donald Trump Jr., you could like go YouTube this video. He was then talking about the benefits of silencers now. So like AJ said, you got to stop the lobbying groups because they're going to push the issues.
Exactly. Like, there is zero reason that our Congress is basically more beholden to corporations than they are to the American people of whom they represent. And that is what if you cut off lobbying dollars, you actually get to a point where politicians are actively listening to their constituents again. Now, here's something I do want to say. And I know this ain't Alabama's fault. It's not, because Alabama is super suppressive in voting.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy Tuberville, dumbass, couldn't name the 3 branches of government.
Yeah.
And all you dumb fucks who voted for him, what good is a dump lapdog if Dump ain't in office?
Thank you. Like, what purpose does he serve? If
y'all literally voted against the man who prosecuted the Klan. Like, y'all voted against the dude who prosecuted the Klan for their terroristic acts to vote for a dumbass coach who's left every job without accomplishing anything.
And not only that, it's disgusting to me as an Alabamian that this man. So Doug Jones, like, basically fulfilled the rest of a term. This man gets a full Senate term. Only lived in Alabama for 18 months. And he gets a full Senate term. Can't name the 3 branches of the government. Says he really has no interest in in basically the freshman Senate orientation because he thinks he knows it all. Like, he's just a Trump puppet, and Trump is no longer there. So what purpose does this man serve?
To continue to embarrass Alabama nationally. Thank God for Nick Saban. Thank God for old Nicholas Lou.
Yeah.
That he's actually out here putting something quality with Alabama's name on it out there that people consume nationally. Because having lived in Alabama for 10 years, Alabama is a great state with great people and great shit.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that the rep gets dragged down because people do stupid shit like that is fucking embarrassing. And every one of you who voted for him should be shamed. Publicly shamed. Hell, all 70 million of you idiots who voted for that orange fuck should be publicly shamed. All of you, every one of you. Like, I so wish there was a way to, like, just go and embarrass every single dump supporter.
Yeah, because you should be. You totally should be.
Like, you should be fucking embarrassed that you chose racism over progress in this country. Literally because you were mad at a black man. And also, I ain't forgot about Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Even from beyond the globe, we in this mess. We only in this mess with uncertainty because of your stupid ass. Because you ain't want to fucking step down 10 years ago when Obama asked you to. You fucking selfish. And all you white feminists who wrote, no, girl power. I hope y'all feel fucking stupid today too. You fucking idiots.
but not for real. So yeah. What I think, and you raised a good point. What I think this country needs to do now is it's pretty much the veil has been pulled back. So now is the time that we stop pretending, right? Like, is now time that we start addressing like what's actually going on in this nation. Trump didn't just happen in 2014, 2015. Trump is basically and once again, like, to the meaning of dog whistle is that you blow a dog whistle and the decibels are at the level to where a dog only hear it. That was Reagan. It's now a bullhorn. It's not a dog whistle anymore. So the decibels have been rising since Reagan, and now we're at a point where Trump has been yelling it. But here's the scary part: Trump is in the end. Trump is only
not by a long shot.
Trump is only 3/4 of the way, if that. What's coming on the other end is going to be much worse.
And this is why I say all of you people who did not vote for senators in areas where it went blue, y'all are fucking stupid because y'all are enabling this. This was the best case scenario for Republicans. They boot Trump out. They maintain the Senate. They act like they didn't really want to do any of that shit. They were just acting under the wishes of the president. Then in 2022, they take back the House. In 2024, they roll out their candidate that does what Trump did. It just isn't as loud, and people aren't as engaged to take him down. This was the blue wave not happening was the absolute best case scenario for Republicans, because I guarantee you Mitch McConnell somewhere smiling because he's like, oh, either way, we're good.
Yeah,
we're fine. We're perfectly fine. We get one of those 2 seats in Georgia, we're good. We don't need shit else from y'all.
Yeah, because there's one guy who should absolutely scare you, and I'm not even going to mention his name, but basically AJ, he was actually elected to represent your state. He's a relatively young guy, like 25.
Oh, yep, I know exactly.
People like that is what coming down the pipeline. The QAnon people, they're what's coming down the pipeline.
One was elected in Georgia.
Like you thought Tea Party was bad. Like what's coming down the pipeline is much, much worse. Trump just kicked the door open, but what's coming behind him is much, much worse. So I think you need to be ready for that.
Way worse. Like I said, quite literally the fate of democracy is resting on Georgia right now.
Basically.
Like I'm not even bullshitting y'all. Getting to 50 Senate seats and having Kamala Harris as the tying vote is going to mean a whole lot of shit gets done. And all that's going to happen if that doesn't happen is 2 years of Joe Biden governing by executive order. The House being flipped, them starting to pass a bunch of fucking laws that he doesn't agree with, and using that Supreme Court majority because he can't add seats. Now, I do wonder if he will be able to contract seats from the Supreme Court without Congress.
That's the thing. Yes, he can, because here's the thing, a lot, and that's on the table too, because for instance, Amy Coney Barrett, whatever the hell her name is, she calls herself an originalist. Okay, so one thing that people propose that Joe does threaten is like, okay, you're an originalist, so that means we should have 6 Supreme Court seats, right? So that means no Neil Gorsuch, no Brett Kavanaugh, and no Amy Coney Barrett. So go back to 6. But they don't want that.
And that would be the thing that, like, if he can't, I hope someone's in his ear and does that and says, hey, let's go back. Let's go back. Actually, well, because if they go to 5 seats, it would be 3-2, right? Because then they would be removing one of Obama's appointees, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Because I mean, 3-3 just means it's going to revert to the. But see, they got the federal courts too, because then it's just going to revert to lower court rulings. All right. But I mean, at the very least, they can't like just superimpose their will. Like that, I would like to see is for them to just contract. If you can't expand it, contract that shit. Like if you can't expand it, just say nope. We're contracting. We're going back to 6 seats on the Supreme Court like it was originally intended. And yeah, like I would love to see that. Like that for me would be the only. But yeah, we're gonna get 2 years of Biden governing by executive order. Then the House is going to flip, and then people are going to be frustrated without shit getting done. There's going to be low turnout in 2022. There's going to be lower turnout in 2024, and then somebody's going to get a Reagan-esque victory when they slide up that suave person to replicate the Trump thing with lower dog whistles, and Dems aren't going to show up because they're going to feel like nothing has happened, and then it's going to be a landslide victory. And they're going to feel like they have a fucking mandate, and then they're going to push through every fucking thing. So my advice to you would be, in these next 2 years, learn your ass a skill, get you a passport, and be prepared to leave this fucking country if shit goes the way I think it's gonna go. Because I can tell y'all right now, it's finna get ugly.
But no.
Hold on, let me get this.
Okay, go ahead.
Too many of y'all thought that Barack Obama was a change when it was a stay of execution. All it did was prolong what the fuck was going to happen to this country. Barack Obama was not the change that we hoped for. He was a stay of execution. and the executioner is coming. The fat lady is warming up her vocals on this thing we call America. If we don't get those Senate seats,
I will say this: what happens with Dems every year is that leading up to a presidential election, the money and the influence wins over and basically here's the thing. I feel like there's a lot more people on the left right now, but when it comes to the money, when it comes to the influence, when it comes to like actually getting out and doing things, they don't show up. So be thinking about 2024 already.
Be thinking about 2022 already.
No. I'm like I said, because I think people, and actually that's where I actually kind of disagree with you, because I think people are going to be actually engaged for 2022, but be thinking about 2024 already. Because like, here's the thing, if you want, and because we only think about who's running like a year before the election, like no, like I said, we mentioned Cori Bush right now. We mentioned AOC. We mentioned Ilhan Omar. Not saying they're going to run for president, but what I'm saying is support senators. Yeah, exactly. Support these people right now. Follow their careers right now. Learn these people right now, so you'll have a better idea of what's coming down the pipeline. So don't be like so you can say like, okay, we don't want a Pete Buttigieg when we have this person. Throw support behind that person because you've already been there. Like, don't wait on like saying who's on the stage and then picking your person. Like, no, follow these careers right now. Yeah. And that's what it takes. And that's something the Dems do a terrible job of doing, is sending people down the pipeline. And that takes us as basically constituents of these districts, of these states, of just the United States. Like, you have to invest in these people right now. And by the way, like I'm following careers on politicians who represent states like I don't even live in right now, because I feel like, because I'm seeing what they're doing and I know the potential they have. Like, I see AOC challenging Chuck Schumer. Like, I see that. I see things like that happening. So I'm following the careers of people because I see where they can go. So don't wait until 2024 and be like, well, there's nobody worth, there's nobody I really want to, see run for president. So well, I mean, I'm just not gonna vote.
Kamala's gonna run, so we ain't.
No. And that's what I'm saying. Like, and I'm gonna throw this out here too. Like, if the Biden administration does what it's supposed to do, then I have no problem with the handoff to Kamala. But I will say this: the point I'm trying to make is, don't wait until 2023 and you're disappointed with the choices and you're saying, I'm just going to sit this one out, when you did not invest. Because guess what? Like, if you support Ilhan Omar or AOC or whoever right now, they're going to be like, okay, look at the push I have. Maybe I can run for president. So it starts now. Like, be thinking about 2024 right now.
Yeah. Now, I'll agree with you on 2022, depending on what happens with these with this runoff election. Now, to Blair's point, talking about the infighting. So we've long been predicting that if there was a blue wave, the Republican Party, as we knew it, was going to be destroyed, and all that was going to happen was the moderate Dems were going to join with the more moderate Republicans and push out the extremists. But since that didn't happen, now you're looking at basically, because the more quote unquote moderate Republicans are going to side with the extreme Republicans, because they have a common goal in mind, and that is to continually enrich themselves and oppress poorer peoples. Whereas the left, the moderate Dems want status quo, but the progressive Dems want to shake up the establishment. Mm-hmm. So you can't have a unity there. So we went from potentially seeing the getting a true left party rather than a center left party, to now getting like a potentially three parties and the Republicans just continuing to dominate.
Here, and to close out, here's what I think is going to happen. Basically, this country is finally going to realize that it has three parties, because you have and I think, I can't remember her name, but she's a representative from Virginia. You basically haven't heard saying, Black Lives Matter and defund the police won these districts when all 5 progressive candidates won their seats. But anyway, I say that to say this. All right, so if I draw a line in a piece of paper and set it on the table, and I keep shifting the piece of paper to the right, that the center line that I drew is going to keep shifting right, correct? That's what happening. That is what happening to the Democratic Party. So as you try to stand firmly in the middle, the further right the Republicans go, and the more you try to reach across the aisle to them, you're going to get shifted right. So here's what I think is going to happen. You have an offshoot of the Democratic Party already, which is what people such as AOC and Bernie Sanders identify with, the Democratic Socialists. I think those voices are going to get louder, and they're going to say, you know what? We tried it your way. We're good, because this is something that the Democrats fail to realize. A lot of people aren't Democrats. They simply vote Democrat because they can't see themselves voting Republican. Like, and I identify with that. Like, I don't go, like, I vote Democrat because the other choice is so terrible. I can't bring myself to vote for that. That would be voting against my interest. But for how
and we're not white people, so we don't have the luxury of
exactly. I don't have that luxury. I don't have that luxury to sit out. So for how Democrats govern, what they believe their core values are, how they communicate to their people, that's really not how I would do it. So when that split does happen, like I will see myself on the left of it, where things should be, and I see that happening, and it's really going to be a death knell to the Democratic Party when they start to lose AOC, because they're going to realize, like, okay, like we all right. So basically, every time, I will say this, like, Democrats see, and once again, this is no offense to Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, but Democrats are now seeing this victory as a victory for the Democrats. Nah, like people really got out to vote to stop fascism. And now you're trying to tell me that you want to make up with these people. That's tone deaf, and they need to realize that. So that's going to be the reckoning of the party when they continue trying to make good with these fascists, and that's going to drive people further left, and that's likely where I'll be. But yeah, this nation has three parties. It has a far left party, it has a moderate right party, which is what the Democrats are, and then it has whatever the Republicans make themselves to be every 4 years. So that's the real makeup of America, in my opinion.
Yep. And also, this definitely isn't going to happen now, but if I were you, if you do not currently live in a solidly blue state on the East Coast, if you cannot get out of this country, I would move to one of those solidly blue states on the West Coast, my boy. Because what's going to end up happening is, when that fascist turn happens, mark my words, that West Coast block of blue states is going to be the safest place to be, because all it's going to take is one country that don't like what America's doing to back them into secession, and oh boy, shit gets interesting. But we won't get into that.
A lot of those states have let's just say there's a certain state that has billions of dollars in revenue in education, not education, but in entertainment, and influences like the worldwide market. They also have a monopoly on technology in this country. Just throwing it out there, you know what state I'm talking about. So if they said, "Hey, we're good," and then the two states above that, and then a few states on the other side of that say, "Hey, we're good," yeah.
Pretty much that whole little hook, except Utah, maybe Arizona might not do it, but Colorado and New Mexico, you bet your ass, buddy. And if a country that held a lot of America's debt and had a army the size of America's population, say, I don't know, China, said, no, we got y'all, like France did when we seceded from Britain. Shit could get very interesting. So I'm saying. I predicted that would happen if the R's won, but it looks like that might get pushed off for like another 6 days. Just saying, if shit goes the way I think it's gonna go, pending the Georgia runoffs, be prepared to leave where you are. That's all I'm saying. Don't make no permanent decisions. Be flexible and learn your ass a skill between now and then, so that wherever you go, you're not reliant upon whatever job skills you've been taught. Learn an actual skill that travels with you. That's all I'm saying. But anyways, this has been Politics as Usual. Next week, Fee is supposed to be back. I don't know what the hell we're gonna be talking about next week. I don't know what the hell we're gonna be doing for Thanksgiving week either, because I'm gonna be in Birmingham. I'm either gonna be in Birmingham or driving back here. So I don't even know if I'll be on the day after Thanksgiving, and my brother's place is a lot more crowded than my mom's was, so I won't be able to lug all my equipment with me. But that might just be a you and Fee episode. We'll see.
We could do that.
Or tag in somebody like Joe or Lee. See if we can get Lee on. Or Chuck. Yeah, we got plenty of options. But anyway, this has been Politics as usual. Make sure you check us out on Sunday. We will be discussing The Mandalorian and having to be subjected to Courtney lusting over the 10 seconds of screen time that Giancarlo Esposito got in this episode, as well as the hidden Pedro Pascal. I don't know what the hell else we got going on.
That's pretty much it. It's pretty much slow motion. We're so the aftermath of the election 2020 miniseries, we're going to start talking to basically organizers and activists in certain areas to talk about basically what they saw during the election cycle in their respective states. So I'm actually pretty excited about this because AJ, you mentioned that a lot of people down Alabama because Alabama doesn't they don't know the good people we have here. We actually have on next Thursday we have on John Hammondtree. He and a few of the people of AL.com created a series called Reckon. It's so if you want to know like the true voice of Alabama, the true progressive voice of Alabama, a lot of like great stories in Alabama, then follow Reckon. It's an offshoot of AL.com. They do incredible work, incredible reporting, and we're glad to have him on. So yeah, we're going to be talking to like activists in the South, and then we're basically we're going to be putting our energy mobilizing people in Georgia. So look out for that. And yeah, that's all we got going right now.
Yeah. I might start streaming on Twitch soon. Depends on how much money I have to pay to get that happening, but we'll see. I might talk some low level piano harmonies if that's something that you're interested in, because I've had a bunch of people ask me to teach them piano lately. But yeah, that's like it's kind of all we got right now. Yeah, tune in on Sunday. We'll be live. Please help us suppress Court's filth. There's only room enough for one filthy person on this platform, and that is me. Even though I'm not even filthy on any of our I don't even speak filth on any of our podcasts. Never mind. So I guess Court can do that in the digital realm. I only do it on my Twitter, which is private. Also, I was named funniest person on the podcast by one of the podcasters' parents.
Yeah, and
what can I say?
I mean, I won't argue with it. It is what it is.
I mean, I add a certain, je ne sais quoi to the. I don't even know.
I'm mellow, and you're the one who's up here. So yeah, I'll buy that. No qualms.
I don't even think I'm up here. I just, I come in and I like last week. Everyone was on me for my display name being Darth Brooks. I thought it was funny. Everyone else was acting like it was an affront on humanity or some shit. That's all right. I got a good one for this week. I almost used it here, but I was like, nah, let me say that for.
Yeah, you gotta keep that in the pocket.
I was Obi-Wan Shinobi first week. I was Darth Brooks this week. I'll be Darth Hater at some point, but I think I got the one I'm gonna use this week. But anyway, we'll catch y'all next week again. My brother will be back, giving us tales from the hospital. Probably not, but he'll be back. I'll be playing 2K probably all this weekend when I should be playing piano, but I've bought that damn game again, knowing I shouldn't. Listen, man.
Just when you think you're out, they pull you back in.
Be calling me. Yeah, I'm gonna regret this, but fuck it. Also, don't buy Miles Morales if you got the PS5. That shit only is like 15 hours of game time. And I don't know about you, but paying $70 for a game I can beat in 15 hours just ain't.
Nah.
I Ghost of Tsushima and said the online gameplay is super fun. Anyway, that's it. We out. One.
Peace.